Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlan, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Tim Cyclesman Wood, editor of Cycles News and Views on Cyclesman.com. Welcome back to the show, Tim.
Jim, thanks for having me.
And Tim, we're glad you and your family are okay after Hurricane Sally rolled right through the middle of your neighborhood last week. And I was going to say you were kind enough to fish your computer out of the water to talk to us today.
It wasn't, it was, my computer was saved, my house was good, we were good, didn't lose a tree, didn't lose a shingle, but boy, I can't say that for other people. We were real fortunate. It was quite the experience. It was interesting, I have to say.
Did it sound like a roaring freight train?
I can't, yes, I heard sounds I've never heard before, that's for sure. The wind was, I thought about that, and it sounds like something between, I don't know, it was unique, it was different. I wouldn't describe it 100% like a freight train. Some of the sounds was maybe more like a jet. Where we were at, let me preface this, it was a baby hurricane, as hurricanes go. They said that it was like 105 sustained, and where I'm at, it was like 100 sustained. They recorded, in this town. And then they were saying like 123 gust. So what it gave me was a perspective of, knowing if you go to a category 3 or a category 4, you add 30 miles an hour to that, it gets exponential. The curve gets steep as far as the intensity. And so it was an interesting experience. Mm-hmm. In a category 2, it's no joke. But it's not, we were never afraid. The house didn't creak. We did have some driving wind or driving rain around a couple of the windows where the water, the wind was blowing hard enough where it was driving the rain in the cracks of a couple of windows that I was unaware of and a back door. But other than that, we made out very well, lost power for about 4 days. And anyway, we're good. I have a different perspective on the stronger hurricanes, that's for sure.
Tim, are the markets in for stormy times?
We're seeing, I think the last time we talked, as I recall, I can never really remember, everything we talk about from interview to interview, but I think I may have said something to the effect that the markets were at kind of a critical spot where I was expecting some cyclical, intermediate term cycle top and been looking for, a downturn out of that top and some sort of corrective action. And I think I also have said that I was looking for everything, all asset classes to try to turn together. And I think that's what we're seeing here. I think that cycle is biting or trying to bite and take hold. And we have certainly seen most asset classes, crude oil, gold, just like I said, and equities trying to turn down, even Bitcoin, trying to turn down here, everything trying to take hold and turn together. So the question is, I guess, is how well, again, can it be held, versus the forces of the market and the technical setup and the weight of that setup. So the battle, if you will, between the technical setup and the efforts to hold it is where we're at. And, ultimately, I think that, once the structure is firmly in place, then it's in place and Mother Nature is going to have its way. But yes, I think we're at a point where the market is trying to turn out of those intermediate term cycle tops.
I've noticed that the venture exchange in Toronto that deals with all the junior miners and so on is down quite a bit today. Does that tell us that gold and silver could be in trouble?
Well, I've been saying that, I didn't think this was a breakout in gold, that it was an extended move into the 9-year cycle top. Where there was evidence that the 9-year cycle was trying to top. It tried to peak, I think, 3 different times, and, then it never would quite bite. And then, it rally again, and then it never would quite bite. And then we've had this last setup that's been trying to take hold, and pretty much so far it's holding. I can't say the setup is 100% materialized, but because of all the issues, we've talked about this. We talked about how that we had all these longer term non-confirmations. We talked about the issues with the 9-year cycle and some of the statistics that associated with the push into this advance, and that what it was not a breakout, that it was an abnormality that we were seeing. And now, just like I'm saying, all asset classes are trying to turn together. And so, yes, I think it's telling us something. Definitely, I do.
We'll have more with Tim Cyclesman Wood right after this.
Value from success, growth in discovery. Golden Arrow Resources is a well-funded gold copper exploration company with proven management and prospective properties in Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay. Golden Arrow trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange, symbol GRG, on Frankfurt, symbol G6A, and the OTCQB, symbol GARWF. For more information, visit us at goldenarrowresources.com or call Sean at 778-686-0135.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Tim Cyclesman Wood. Tim, did Fed head Jerome Powell have something to tell us the other day?
Yes, and I've been in the dark by and large because of the power outage and then the power surges and that sort of thing, so I haven't had computers on and so forth. But I did have someone call me. I think you're talking about, he made a comment yesterday, something about his toolbox again. And, they do that every time the market is at some sort of a sketchy spot. You hear them come out. That goes back to the manipulation we've talked about, and the comment I made just a while ago. How well can they game it? How well can they hold it? How well can they, I'll just say it, bullshit the market into that everything is okay? And that's, like I've said, that's part of what they do with one of their biggest tools. I've said this before too, is the perception of the tools. And so that's what he was doing with that comment. The market gets in a sketchy spot, and they come out and say, oh, well, this time we're going to really roll out the toolbox, and this time we're going to let inflation run hot, and this time we're going to, that's the game. And that's what that was the essence of what I was saying a while ago, is that it's the battle between the technical setup and their ability to continue to convince the market that everything's okay. So that's where we're at. How well can it be contained? I don't know. And at some point, the weight of the setup is going to overcome their ability to game the market. Is it this setup at this time? Is it the next one? I don't know. But again, we're at that technical juncture where it could be this one, which is why he came out and made the comment he made. And it's going to be, I've also made this comment, back in January and February, I think I specifically said on the air that, I know I wrote it in the newsletters and stuff, I said that I expected the setup to come quickly and seemingly out of nowhere, that people that didn't understand the structure that was falling in place at the time, that it would seem to just have appeared and cracked out of nowhere. And that's the same situation. That's how it has to happen with this interference. It's going to, and we're at that juncture where we have that structure trying to take hold. If people don't understand the structure, and if it does take hold or not, then they're not going to understand the risk associated with what's, it's just going to look like a little correction when, it's not going to be. And so that's the danger of this market.
Well, to me, it reminds me a lot of being, say, on a warship during stormy seas, and there's a crack in the hull, and they're taking timbers and they're shoring it up. But at a certain point, it doesn't matter how much wood you put out there. Mother Nature's just going to cave in that hull, and if you're lucky, it won't sink, but you definitely are going to be in deep trouble. Is that the situation we're in right now? They're putting timbers up against the bulkhead.
That's a good analogy. And look, in this last research letter, I don't know if you read it or not, but we'd heard a lot of talk about how great the economy was or is, and what a great recovery we have, and how many jobs we've rebound, we've seen from this rebound, and so on and so forth. And so I looked at those numbers. I show that the economy is nowhere near what they say. They're using the stock market as a gauge to say, see, look, everything's okay. And if you look under the hood, it's not so. And so again, that's the public being gamed and shown, like I said, a false gauge of what's really going on. And that can only go on for so long. And I go back to my statement, it comes down to the structure of the market, and when we get to these critical junctures, how well can they game it to, and I hate this saying, but to kick the can down the road again versus the setup taking hold. And you're right, at some point the timber gives way, and that's what I mean when I say the structure. There is a it's hard to explain, but there's literally structure, like a foundation of the market that you have to see certain cyclical structure for the market to be positive, and you have to see certain cyclical structure for a turn to take place, and we're seeing it trying to take place.
We'll have more with Tim Cyclesman Wood right after this.
Value from success, growth, and discovery. Golden Arrow Resources is a well-funded gold-copper exploration company with proven management and prospective properties in Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay. Golden Arrow trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange, symbol GRG, on Frankfurt, symbol G6A, and the OTCQB, symbol GARWF. For more information, visit us at goldenarrowresources.com or call Sean at 778-686-0135.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Tim Cyclesman Wood. Our frequent weekly guest, market historian Bob Hoy, is fond of reminding us that, seeing as how we're in our 19th recession since the Fed was invented in 1913, it seems like they really can't have your back. They never have, and they never will. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's part of the illusion. That's an illusion. I totally agree with that.
Is it more a case now, look, don't rely on outside sources to look after you and your investments. It's your responsibility, and find responsible sources for reliable information. Would that be a lot better stand to take than waiting for Jerome Powell to save your bacon?
Well, they're never going to tell, here's the thing, they're never going to tell the truth because, number one, they can't. I mean, think about it, honestly. I'm not defending, but that's true. I mean, can he really come out? Can the president really come out and say, look, guys, look, this is really a house of cards, and this recovery, it's really the worst since the Great Depression, and, we're hanging on here by a thread, and we're really just keeping this thing together with, bullshit and bubble gum. I mean, they can't. And even during the Great Depression, if you look back at the comments that were made, they didn't do it then. They can't and will not warn and tell you the truth. They can't. It's never happened. And so it makes it very difficult then for people to believe, because they turn to their leaders. They turn to, the president and authority figures for information and that sort of thing, and the TV and talking heads and so forth. And they're told one thing when the reality is something completely different. And then people like me and Bob Hoy come along and tell, something completely different. And by and large, it falls on deaf ears.
Yeah, I guess the attitude is, what do you guys know that all of these highly paid, highly publicized people don't know?
Well, I don't know, but let me just say this, and it's a matter of print, a matter of fact. I did call the 2000 top. It was printed in a magazine, cover story, with Greenspan holding a flat tire and the economy going flat, and called the target for the decline out of the 2000 top, and missed it by 200 points. I mean, it exceeded the target by 200 points. So I was right. The housing top, the peak oil fiasco. I said, no, it's not peak oil, it's a bubble. Called the top, within a week of the top, as soon as I got the signal on the air, in my letter. It's the housing top. I don't know if I said that. The gold top back in 2011. The top in the stock market in 2007, I mean, to the T. This one has been a struggle because of the intensity of the efforts that they have gone to continue to hold it. And, it has tried to set up and it won't happen, and it'll try to set up and it won't happen. And I noticed particularly weird behavior in the market starting in sometime in 2014-15, and I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying what I'm saying. And so I think that, yes, there's been an enormous degree of interference in an effort to hold this thing, and I think that is what has created the bubble, or what has fueled the bubble, but it hasn't solved anything. It hasn't fixed anything. It's only made the bubble bigger. It hasn't solved the problem that they've been trying to fix for 20 years. Think about something. In 2000, they started trying to fight. The fight was deflation. And they had been fighting deflation for 20 years. They haven't fixed it yet. Of course, absolutely, they've blown the stock market to the moon, but they haven't fixed the underlying problem. Look at commodities. And I'm not talking about the price of our groceries in the grocery store. Of course, they've gone through the roof. The price of everything's gone through the roof. Look at the health insurance costs, the insurance costs, period. Everything. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying they have not fixed, they have not reinflated the underlying economy. I have shown beyond a shadow of a doubt, just like President Trump said before he was elected, this has been, the post-2009 recovery has been the worst recovery since the Great Depression, and nothing has changed in the last 4 years. That's still where we stand. And what we see with the inflated equity prices is cover. It's that simple.
Tim, I know you have family that's come to shelter with you after the storm, and you'd like to get back to them, but I really appreciate you taking time out to talk to us.
I appreciate you.
My guest has been Tim Cyclesman Wood, editor of Cycles News and Views on cyclesman.com. If you have any questions for Tim, you can send them to info@howstreet.com. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @HowStreet. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at talkdigitalnetwork.com. HowStreet.com Radio is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.